Good morning. I'm Christopher Cudworth, the Communications Coordinator with the City of Batavia. And we're in downtown Batavia this morning to talk about the safe and appropriate way to use our crosswalks. There are both legal reasons why you want to know this, and there's also basic personal safety reasons you want to know this. And you'll hear and see many cars going behind us, and that's why it's so important to know about this. I'm here with Detective Michelle Langston from the Batavia Police Department. And one of the things I wanted to start with, or we want to start with today, is if you were approaching this crosswalk, what are some of the things that you like to consider?
I would like to consider the amount of traffic that you have coming. You want to make sure that you're crossing at a safe spot. Sometimes a mid-crosswalk, such as the one behind us, a mid-block crosswalk, is maybe not ideal to cross at. It may be safer to cross down where a stoplight is or a four-way stop intersection with stop signs would be. It's safer. Cars expect people to be crossing there. And so they're more likely to be paying attention and stopping. When you are at a crosswalk, any crosswalk, regardless of where it is, the important thing to do is make sure that you're making eye contact with the driver of the vehicle that's coming towards the crosswalk at that time in the lane that you're at. So if you're crossing from this side over to Walgreens here, you'd want to make sure that you're making eye contact with the driver in the vehicle going westbound. That's the first lane you cross into in this example. So from there, if you make eye contact with them, they see you, you see them. You want to make sure that you see the front end of the car dipping. That indicates that they're slowing down. Of course, how quickly it dips and how far it dips will tell you how quickly they're slowing down. Right. And that helps you make a decision on whether it's safe to cross at that time or not. You also, want to make sure that you remember your safety is the number one thing. To run back and forth or to get across the street as fast as you can is not the number one thing. It's your safety. So make sure that you're using all of these tips in order to cross safely.
Excellent. So, as you might be walking out from McDonald's here, and there's actually a tree blocking the road. So when someone gets out there, what's the best practice for them? Are they safe stepping into the intersection to gather the attention of the drivers?
We would not recommend that, no. What I would recommend is that you come close to the crosswalk here, maybe just slightly off of the sidewalk area, but not going too far into the roadway to make sure that the driver does see you, because I understand this is a little bit more difficult. But of course, you want to look both ways. You want to make sure, again, that they see you before just stepping into the crosswalk. You don't want to surprise the driver, cause an accident. Even if they do stop and they don't hit you, there may be someone following behind them that could cause an accident as well.
Legally, in essence, one of the things we want to clarify is you're not automatically protected because you're in the crosswalk or because you step out into it, right?
Correct. Per the statute, pedestrians are required to make sure they cross when it's safe. You are not allowed by law just to walk into the crosswalk and then cars have to stop for you. In fact, if you walk into the crosswalk, the lane that you are crossing into immediately has to stop. The other lane does not until you get to an area that's close enough to it where it's not safe for them to continue. So just because you're out in the middle of the crosswalk doesn't mean you're safe to walk all the way across the street either. By law, you are required to make sure that as you cross each lane of traffic, you are doing so in a safe manner.
We're here at the intersection of Union and Route 31 in Batavia to take a look at what it's like to cross in a crosswalk where there are light indicators. And Detective Langston is going to explain a little bit about the right protocol for you as a pedestrian.
So this is a rapid yellow flashing light indicator that you will find at various intersections or crosswalks here in Batavia. These were recently installed, and so we just want to explain them so everybody knows how to properly use them. In this situation, you're going to come over here and you're going to hit this button down here. Once you hit the button, yellow lights will start flashing up at the top of the sign here. And what that does is that indicates that there's a pedestrian in the area. However, this does not force vehicles to have to stop. So just remember that if you push the button, it doesn't mean the vehicles have to stop, but it does give them a warning that there may be a pedestrian trying to cross the street.
We're at the corner of McKee Street and Route 31, where there's an additional lighted crossing. And Detective Langston's going to talk about this crossing and how you can use it safely.
Thank you, Chris. So again, this is a very busy crosswalk here. Remember that Route 31 is a thoroughfare from Geneva all the way down to Aurora and so on and so forth. So there's a lot of cars that drive on Route 31. McKee Street is also a thoroughfare for Batavia from Randall Road over to Route 31. So there's a lot more traffic at this intersection, therefore making it more dangerous for pedestrians. So in a situation like this, again, we do have the flashing lights here. Those are helpful, but again, that does not mean that vehicles have to stop. What we would like you to do is make sure that you push that button, stop, look, listen both ways, just like you were taught in school, and make sure that you're seeing that cars are communicating with you and that the driver sees you, they're slowing down. In a position of this, like this one where this crosswalk is, you have to remember that just because the one car in the outside lane sees you doesn't mean the inside lane car sees you too, and vice versa. So you want to make sure that as you're crossing, before you get into that next lane, that you're making eye contact again with the driver of the vehicle coming towards you in that lane, because they may not have seen you yet like the other car did.
And I think the main point of our talk today and our demonstrations today is to really emphasize protecting your own safety. Detective Langston's talked today a couple times with me about the fact that a vehicle is 3,000 or 4,000 pounds, and that's not a good situation to put yourself in when they're moving as fast as they might be here or even on slower streets. It's just your priority and your obligation to know the rules about crosswalks, use them safely, be attentive to the pace and speed of traffic, and and also don't be afraid to help others. And thank you for listening.